Horsepower, not horse shit. Michael McLean, badassbrotherhood.com, coming to you on a gorgeous morning out here at the lake. Time for 15,000 steps. Time for my morning road work. Come on, Clifford. Sometimes I have to invite Clifford to come with me. He loves it. He's off leash most of this walk. Got my 25 pound rucking vest on. Beautiful morning opportunity to think, to do a brain dump, to think about my challenges, to think about solutions, to listen to my golden gut, to listen to my intuition, and time with my creator, and time just to be quiet, to be silent, and to think after I shoot this video. I just wanted to share with you a card that I left last night in my daughter Emery's book. My daughter Emery's 9 years old, and every morning she gets up at 5:59, just when I do, and she goes downstairs and she reads every day of her life. Real books. She loves her time in the morning like her daddy. And yesterday we were going to the equestrian barn, and we had a little discussion on the way about gratitude and respect. And it was a very one-sided discussion. I wasn't happy over the last several days with Emery's attitude. I wasn't very pleased with her, just overall her disposition. She was, in my opinion, rude. She was bold. Not in extremes, but for her, she's just not like that. She's a well-mannered kid. She's always positive, all those other things. So we had a discussion, and that's what's great about driving places with your kids. That's what's great about going for walks with our children, having lunch with our children, breakfast, dinner. It gives us an opportunity to talk. So we had a rare talk yesterday where I just told her that this particular behavior of whining and complaining, about things that other children don't even get the opportunity to experience. And what I was referencing was horseback riding, and just, the opportunity to be in horseback riding shows and all these different things, which she loves. She has a passion. That's her passion. She has a passion for drawing, and she has a passion for horses. But my point is I'm not willing to accept any whining or complaining or any bitching or chewing when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you're going to be in these things, and I'm going to pay the bill, and I'm going to drive there, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to watch you train and practice, it's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy each other's company. You're going to work extremely hard. You're going to give championship effort every single time. And there's not going to be any whining or crying about any part of the process. That's the rule I have in my business. That's the rule. That's my code of conduct in my personal life. No whining, no complaining, and no excuses. So I'm certainly not going to accept it from my 9-year-old daughter. And that's my job as a father, to hold her accountable. That's my code of conduct. No whining, no complaining, no excuses. Whining leads to complaining. Complaining leads to excuses. Excuses lead to losing. The great Brian Burke, general manager of Team USA at the Vancouver Games. He's the president of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He works with guys like Sidney Crosby. That's his policy, personal policy. That's where I got that idea from. So with that said, it was a very candid conversation. And to Emery's credit, she's not a snowflake. She's not a cupcake. She's a mentally tough kid. And she said to me, she was like, I got it at the end of it. I said, this is what I expect. This is what mommy expects. And she goes, I got it. And to her credit, she instantly got back on track. She reset her mindset, her state. She had an amazing training session. We had some laughs on the way home. And we got back on track in terms of attitude, in terms of mindset, in terms of gratitude. You have an opportunity that most kids aren't going to have to ride to ride a damn horse. So to her credit, she responded. She's not one of these snowflake kids or who can't take, harsh coaching or hard coaching. But it just shows you that as a parent, I don't raise my voice, I don't get angry, but I'm not afraid to be firm with my kid. I'm not afraid to coach my kid hard. I'm not afraid to tell my kid the truth. I use my philosophy. Chris and I both have the same philosophy. Our tones are very different, but we use the great Brene Brown's philosophy with Emery as well. Clear is kind. Clear is kind. And unclear is unkind. So I use that in business, I use that in marketing, I use that in my marriage, I use that with my world building clients. Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Speak the truth, be candid, respect people, show respect by telling people the truth. Be truthful, be honest. And be clear with people. So with all that said and done, come on, Cliffy, come on, buddy, come on, pal. I last night before bed, I was feeling a little bit, I just didn't like the way that things had ended. And so last night before bed, I wrote, Emery has her book downstairs on the couch because she comes down and gets under the blanket and reads for at least half an hour. So I don't know if you can read this, but I put this card, I have these recipe cards for all my reading and all my writing. So I have these recipe cards and I write notes to my wife and daughter. Not every day, but quite a few. And so there's the card, Emery, I love you, Daddy, XXS. So I wrote that and I put it in her book. I slipped it in her book. And I just basically, it was a great way for her to start her day. It's, me reminding her that I'm on her side no matter what. It's reminding her that I'm her ally no matter what. It's reminding her that she can come to me, talk to me no matter what. Reminding her that I'm her protector and I'll do anything to, that I love being her father and all this other stuff. So I walked down this morning just after her, and sure enough, there's the card on the coffee table, and Emery's reading her book, and she's got this big smile on her face, and she goes, "Look what I found in my book this morning." And she's not an over emotional person. She's not a huggy, kissy kind of person at all. She's more, she's like me. She looks like her mom, but her disposition is more like me. Like she's she's an introvert. She's very, she's very professional, very guarded. She's not one of these drama people. She's not, ever emotionally drunk or any of that stuff. She's just like, okay, accurate thinking kid and sees things as they really are, honest, great integrity. So she has this card and she's got this big smile on her face. And I said, "Who sent you that card?" And she's like, "You did." And the smile on her face was all I needed to see, to understand that we're back on track again. And I think that's really important as a father and as a husband, because I learned this in coaching athletes, is when you have a teachable moment and there's hard coaching sometimes, or we make a mistake. This wasn't a situation where I made a mistake. Clear as kind is never a mistake. But sometimes when we have communication that's harsh or critical or candid, or, unvarnished. It's important that we also remind the people we've communicated with how important they are in our lives. It's like at the end of the day telling your secret weapon wife and your children, no matter how old they are, that every damn day you tell them how much you love them, how much they mean to you. The most important people in our lives are in our lives right now. We don't need anything else. We don't need any more. We have enough love in our life. We have a creator. We have a secret weapon. We have children. We have grandchildren. We don't need anybody else. So with that said, I wrote that card last night, and it made all the difference in the world. And, you can tell because when I write these cards to my daughter in Florida, she had them all up on her bedroom wall. People appreciate little notes like this, whether it's a note on a card, whether it's a gift, whatever it is. A little kid putting it up on the wall. She has them all taped. So I wrote like 9 different messages to her over 4 months. And all 9 were on her wall in her Naples bedroom. And they're all different, right? I'm proud of you. I love being your dad. I love your honesty. This kind of stuff. I'm proud of you. Like no BS. I don't believe in BSing children or anybody else. It's exactly how I feel. So there's something about putting stuff down on paper, out of your mind, out of your heart, onto paper. So it's no different than every Christmas or New Year's, I write, a long letter, a real letter. I type out a letter to Krista. I type out a letter to to Emery, and I've been doing it. So Emery has 9 Christmas letters from me. She has 9 Christmas letters from her mom. And she has these in a box that she can read when she's a teenager, when she's a young mother, when she's newly married, whatever. And Chris and I got into this habit of writing our Christmas letters to ourselves, 12, 13 years ago. And it's something we've done every year to celebrate the new year, where we sit down and we write a letter to each other, a real letter. And mine are like 6 or 7 pages. And it's a review of our year. And it's a listing. I tell her all the things that I love about her, all the things I'm proud of, all the things that I appreciate. And I do the same with my daughter, Emery. And just think, like Emery's going to be able to, when she's a teenager, when she's in her 20s, when she's in her 40s, when I'm long gone, she's going to be able to open that box on tough days and read how much her mom and her dad loved and appreciated her. It's right there in writing. And those letters, that Christmas letter took me over a week. It takes me 2 hours. That's it. I come back to it. I put it away. I come back to it. I put it away. I write stuff down in pen and paper. And then I type it up at the end and I put it on the Christmas tree. But you know what? Like, what's stopping you from doing that every Thanksgiving? What's stopping you from writing your spouse and your children every birthday? Like, you don't want to do that stuff more than once a year, but pick your spot to communicate with you, like in real writing, like not texting, not emailing, none of that horse shit that doesn't matter. Like actually sitting down. I have terrible handwriting, so I type it and I print it out on white paper. I put it in a white envelope. I put Emery's name on it. I put Krista's name on it, and I write it. And I put it on the tree, and we get up, we read them on Christmas Eve by the fire. Like, that's become a tradition. We didn't even plan it that way. Like, do you know how powerful that is for your wife and your children to sit there and read a letter like that? Like, it changes your marriage. It changes your relationship with your children. Like, I've had guys who have taken this on and done it themselves, and they've had, teenage children, sobbing. Kids they haven't talked to in seems like 2 years, and all of a sudden their connection is there again. Because dad took the time to write how proud he is, what he appreciates, how blessed he feels to be part of their life. I've seen marriages transform because of this, one letter per year. So my question is how can you implement something like that in your life? When can you sit down and write something to your spouse and tell her how important she is? Tell her that every single night before bed. Look her in the eye and tell her how much you love her. But once a year, maybe Thanksgiving, maybe her birthday, maybe your anniversary, Sit down and write a letter and tell her all the things that you love and appreciate and are proud of. Don't be so fucking lazy. You know, I have guys who I'm sitting here going, this can transform your marriage, your children, your family. Yeah, I didn't have time to get around to it. No, you didn't have time because you're a tomato can on your cell phone. You're so addicted, you're so mentally childish that you don't have the time to sit down and write to the people that matter the most to you. Well, then you have the marriage that you deserve. You have the relationship with your children that you deserve. You get what you earn, and that's what you've earned. So screw it on straight, and once a year, sit down and write your wife and your kids and tell them how much that they mean and how proud of you, and go through your year and talk about all the things that you love doing as a family. Great process for you, great experience for you, great experience for the people who get these letters. And as I showed you, during the year, it can be a simple card like that to your wife. You know, I just left one a couple days ago under Krista's cell phone. She plugs in her cell phone downstairs. So I took one of those little recipe cards. I have them everywhere. And I took my Sharpies and I wrote her a note. And I wrote a couple of things that I love and appreciate about her. Very specific. So she comes down in the morning, she's doing her thing, she meditates, she goes for her walk, and then she comes home and grabs her phone. And what's under her phone? The note from me that says, I love and appreciate these things. Thank you for looking after our family. How do you think that makes her feel? How do you think that makes her day? How do you think that makes her feel emotionally? How do you think that makes her feel as a mother, as a wife? You know, that's how a king behaves. That's how a king takes care of his kingdom. That's how a king, a badass king, communicates. Not by a text, not by an email, not by a casual I love you on your anniversary. You know, what are you doing every day to build your marriage? What are you doing every day to build your relationship with your children? And as far as, you know, texting and all this stuff, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to send a text, you know, every few days to your daughter or your son or your wife and say, you know, I love this, I appreciate you, thank you, whatever. Same with an email. But it has to be more than that. And nothing is more powerful than the written word. Nothing. Nothing is more powerful than paper and ink and something left. As simple as a Post-it note on the bathroom window. As simple as a Post-it note in her car. As simple as a Post-it note in your son or daughter's lunch kit. As something as simple as writing down a letter and FedExing it to your children at college or university or wherever they're living in a new city, in a new country. Sit down and handwrite a letter, throw it in a FedEx envelope and ship it to them. What do you think that makes? How do you think that makes your son or daughter feel when they're far away? They're living in a different state or a different province or a different country. And they get this unexpected letter from their dad, from their king. Makes a huge difference, let me tell you. So that's something I want to share with you. And remember, at the end of each day, make sure that you tell your wife and kids how much they mean to you and how much you love them. Nothing is more important than the people in front of us, our family. Nothing is more important. You have everything you need in your life. As entrepreneurs and businessmen, we always want more, right? We want to build this, we want to create that, and that's fantastic. But truthfully, we have everything we need right in front of us. We just have to open our eyes and appreciate it. So hug your wife, hug your children, tell them how much they mean to you, how much you love them, how much you respect them. Because I'll tell you this, okay? There is a last time for everything. You keep that in mind. No matter what, in our human life, there is a last time for everything. And we never, ever know what's around the corner. So on the time we're here, you know, the few minutes that we have the opportunity to be on this earth, make a difference, make people feel great about themselves, be a leader, but most importantly, love and support and be a positive example to the people in your life, your wife, your children, the people that mean the matter the most to you. There's a last time for everything, and make sure that no matter what, every single day, they understand and know, no matter what, good or bad, that you love them and you're there for them 100%. You're their ally, you're their king, you're their protector. Make sure they know that every single day. And then back it up with the type of behavior of a king. Be present. When you're at dinner, be at dinner. When you're at breakfast, be at breakfast. When you're on vacation, be on vacation. And when you're, sitting down at the end of the day and relaxing, be sitting down at the end of the day and relaxing. That's it for today. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change your life. If you're interested in applying for my brand new 5-star mastermind, it's not everybody's cup of tea. You can do that below at badasschampion.com. That's badasschampion.com. It's a waiting list. I'll get on the phone with you later this summer. It starts in September. It's a 12-month, 5-star world building brotherhood mastermind. And it's the best of the best for 18 elite men only. And half of the spots are already gone. $50,000, the more you pay, the more you'll pay attention. It doesn't cost you a nickel. You have that money back in the first month or 2, just by the power of association. Being around top 1% husbands, top 1% fathers, top 1% marketers, top 1% businessmen and entrepreneurs. So that's it for today. I don't know if my wife is out here. Yes, she is. Krista is on the boat. There she is. Good morning. She meditates on the boat every morning, when the weather works out, which it is today. So if you're interested, badasschampions.com. I'm looking forward to that mastermind. That I haven't done them in 3 or 4 years. I'm part of a $100,000 one this year myself. So I have a lot of new stuff to share. I just love masterminds. I love the live things. We're going to do 2 live events each year, somewhere in the States, probably Florida. And I love those. I bring in some of my pro coaching buddies, guys that are in the NBA and the NHL, and oh my God, like we've had Mike Ditka, we've had the professional wrestler Ric Flair. We've had Claude Julien, Stanley Cup champion, Boston Bruins coach, Montreal Canadiens coach. I had Dwayne Casey when he was coaching the Toronto Raptors, now with the Pistons. I mean, I just love bringing these guys in. They are straight from the hip, no BS, unvarnished. I mean, those guys are not professional coaches. They're champions. These guys are cleaners, and they just come and talk, mostly for free because I'm their buddy. But other than that, it's just... I mean, these masterminds, 5-star eating, 5-star dining, 5-star everything, you name it. So that's it for today. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change your life. Remember to hug your children and your wife and tell them how much they mean to you. Be relentless.